That was pretty good. I don't know if I can top that. My name's Nick. I've known Brady since he was 14. People are probably wondering how he got to the drop zone. They just live down the street from me, so every weekend, Saturday morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, doorbell would ring and say, "You're ready to go to the drop zone." So we loaded up my gear and head to the drop zone. There was a few times, he wasn't packing quite then, I don't think. He would just go hang out, but he started packing there. And few times, you know, after skydiving, you would have a few beers, and a few more beers, and we needed a ride home. And me and my roommate Neil at the time weren't capable of driving. And Brady was 14 years old at the time. So I said, "Brady, can you drive?" So I threw him the keys. So Bradley said that only happened once. Age 15, he was one hell of a driver. So that's how we learned how to drive, I think. On that note, I figured, well, I'll take this kid underneath my wing. I had planned a trip to Hawaii. Me and him, my son, and my sister lived out there at the time, so we went out there skydiving. I set up deep sea fishing and one of the luau pictures that you saw. So I figured at 14 years old, why not? And I think he was going on spring break, and he asked his parents, and they said, yeah. So that was some good times with Brady. And one last thing, I wanted to keep it short. Excuse me. I've been talking to Brady the last couple weeks, and in skydiving, they have these awards for every 1,000 jumps that you do, and they're called gold wings, and you get certificates. I haven't received and I called Brady and I asked him if he would present these awards to me. I haven't yet received my 2, 3, 4, and 5,000 jump awards. And when I asked him that, he says, "Hell yeah, buddy, that's awesome." So he was really excited about that, and I told Brad and Lisa about that the other night, the conversation that we had, and I asked Brad and Lisa if they could present those to me in the name of, you know, Brady's honor, and they said yes. So Brady, thanks for that. Was in Hawaii. He wanted me to bleach his hair. So thanks, Brady, for being a good friend. Blue skies.
I have a few things written down to say, but really I'm just going to go off the top of my mind here for a moment. Proudly, I was with Brady on Saturday, and the best advice I've received so far was from Lisa, Brady's mother. She recognized shortly thereafter, she'd found out that Brady had passed, that in fact this was not a tragedy. He died doing something he loved. Sometimes that's a cliche in our community, the skydiving community, but that is very much the scenario in this case. So I think that helped me. Glad it helped Lisa. I saw that shortly thereafter, and I hope it helps all of you. Classy. I'm going to go with what I have here. When I was asked to speak here today, I thought that it would be easy. Not easy to speak about the loss of our friend, but easy in the sense that surely I would have a lot to say. Brady's stories seem endless. From having heard stories about his teenage years in the drop zone to having watched him influence hundreds of jumpers. He was always good for a laugh or a conversation about what humans were truly capable of. Even though all these stories circulate, when I tried to start writing the speech, I was left staring at a blank piece of paper. What I have found is that trying to summarize Brady with words is like showing someone a picture of the Grand Canyon or Mount Everest and expecting them to feel that they've been there. Much like pictures never do the places we've been justice, my words will never do the life Brady lived justice. When I was asked to speak here, Melissa said, "I would love it if you spoke at his memorial. We need your humor now more than ever." She then quickly added, and firmly added, "Matt, please do not get naked." I'm pretty sure that if Brady was here right now, he would argue with Melissa. That's exactly what he would want. He'd be heckling me from the crowd. Do it. This is your chance. Streak this place. Do it. This once, I will spare you all from the childish humor that brought Brady and I together in the first place. That does not mean that I will not take this opportunity to rat Brady out and share a childish story along those lines. Many of us trusted our gear to Brady, rightfully so. He was about as experienced as they come and intelligent enough to truly understand the physics involved. However, his professionalism included a fine touch of personality. There's a 50-50 shot that if you've ever given your gear to Brady, he has taken the time to strip down, wrap himself in your parachute, and proudly proclaim, "Yeah, I broke that shit in." In the skydiving community, Brady was more than a coach, a hero, or an expert at any number of skills. First and foremost, he was a smiling face that was dedicated to using humor to make most any situation more interesting and enjoyable. He was a professional skydiver, but making people smile was his craft. He had a quick wit and an intelligent sense of humor, but I do not think it was telling jokes that he enjoyed. It was bringing smiles to people's faces he was passionate about. I moved to Colorado nearly 3 years ago today. During the past 3 years, there have been incredible highs, but mostly I consider this phase the most challenging time of my life. When I first started to truly get to know Brady, I'd pretty much bottomed out emotionally. It was also about that time that I started to work with Brady. We quickly developed an understanding, a relationship that reminds me of the bond that I share with my brothers. We could go weeks without seeing one another and instantly discuss anything and everything. We were two men in our mid-20s trying to figure out life and which paths our lives would lead. We constantly entertained those around us and each other with childish antics. But when the attention was not on us, we often shared our dreams, fears, passions, and weaknesses. This became my outlet. My time to dream and believe that things would turn out all right. Even though we were sometimes worn and pushed to our limits, Brady always remained focused and inspired. He refused to give in or settle for less. This week, I've listened to stories from his friends and met his family, and in doing so, I've remained inspired in true Brady fashion. As all skydivers do, Brady and I developed a way to send one another off into the sky prior to a skydive. For most of us, it's a high five, a hug, a smile, a joke, or a wave. That seemed far too ordinary for Brady and I. I will admit most of the time that we preferred to mess with one another or fall back on our immature ways. I remember on several occasions having Brady reattach my seatbelt without me knowing, so that when I tried to exit, I would look foolish and get yelled at and trampled by other jumpers trying to exit an aircraft. I also remember on one occasion climbing into the door of a plane with Brady, preparing to exit. We gave a loud, "Ready, set, go!" And instead of exiting with me, he simply pushed me out of the plane, smiled, and waved. I was alone in the air and knew Brady was laughing. On the rare instances we were not messing with one another, we would look across the plane and give a simple head nod and mouth the words, "Little things." When people asked what we were saying, we always responded that's our team name and it referenced our penis size. In reality, it stemmed from some of our deeper conversations, and it was our simple way of reminding one another that no matter how far off track we may get or how out of control life may seem, in this life you can always look to the little things that go unnoticed to put life in perspective. The last time that I remember having seen this was on our last jump together, in which a few other friends were on. You know who you are. We came face to face while falling through the edge of a cloud, one of life's breathtaking moments and a truly indescribable experience. Prior to our break-off, Brady mouthed the words, "Little things." It's obvious by looking around this room and noticing how many people have come here that I'm not the only one that he had touched in this way. For Brady, I ask each of you to take notice of the little things and make someone else smile.